we want to know this, whatever foreign intelligence you've collected on this, Swiss businessman with, ties to the Israeli defense sector. And the CIA produces basically like a limited hangout.
Why is Trump doing I try to look at this, Mike, and I don't want to skip ahead here. We'll come right back to what you're saying. But when you think of every possible thing that a very, very guilty person would do in a scenario of being confronted with some accusations, Trump is doing that, and his tracks are even showing that in like a comedic way almost. He has laid the foundation of just guilt back to this Epstein guy. So much so even that now he's having health problems out of nowhere. I've seen that a million times when people are guilty. It starts overtaking your body. What the fuck is he doing?
That's a longer conversation. I have a lot of thoughts on that.
I bet you do.
I feel like getting through some of the facts of this.
All right, let's do it.
Will make that discussion a little bit more productive. But if you want to pull this up, and this is going to get back to our USAID thing, if in a new tab, if you just pull up Ben Black, DFC, USAID. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about how this is, Epstein is not dead. The past is not dead. It's not even the past. If you just go to Google and just type in Ben Black, Leon Black, USAID, DFC, you'll see what I mean here.
I need to get Rich Verk back in here to talk about the simulation theory on this.
Yeah, if you just do that in a new tab.
He's pulling it over. Leon Black's son looks to prove himself in Washington.
Go to Google. There's like a very specific one that just type in Ben Black, Leon Black, DFC, USAID.
Boom.
Yeah, go down. Yeah. Benjamin Black ways shift in USAID funding. Try that one. There you go. What will become of USAID? Yeah, just put that in.
Archive IO it.
And what you'll see is, how I was saying we had to run it through these networks because there was no USAID, for Iran-Contra, right? We couldn't just give the Contras $2 billion in USAID funding because Congress passed the Bolin Amendment banning the USAID funds for it.
We had to drop it on the ground and they picked it up.
Right. We had to run through these dark web networks. Right. And this is what I'm saying is it's the same. What happens now when you don't have USAID funding for all of our covert activity in Venezuela, in Lebanon, in Ukraine? Well, welcome back to the Epstein network. So you'll see here what will become of USAID, and this is Ben Black, who is now the head of the finance side of USAID rather than the grant side. And what you'll see is a lot of this portfolio is going to be moving into the same network that ran through Iran-Contra. And so getting back to what happened with the DFC in this Iran-Contra adjacent pipeline in '88 is the DFC at the time was told by the National Security Council to put up $400 million to back this Bechtel pipeline. And the DFC said, why are you telling us to do this? This guy, Bruce Rappaport, looks super shady. Because Bruce Rappaport had his own checkered past, just like Jeffrey Epstein did. And so the National Security Council said, don't ask questions. We deal with the national security. You put up the money, And the DFC was running all these checks on Bruce Rappaport and saying, we don't want to put up $400 million for this super shady guy. So they queried the CIA and said, CIA, what files do you have? Do a name trace on Bruce Rappaport. We want to know this, whatever foreign intelligence you've collected on this, Swiss businessman with, ties to the Israeli defense sector. And the CIA produces basically like a limited hangout. What they do is they say, well, all we have on this guy are these public news clippings that we've collected over the years. But they hid from DFC that they had extensive dossiers on Bruce Rappaport and all of his dealings, their own dealings with Bruce Rappaport. And so even the government agency, now there was what they claimed is that Bruce Rappaport was not an asset. The same thing that Alex Acosta is reported to have said to the Justice Department in 2020, even though it seemed inconsistent with his reported statements in the Daily Beast. But again, we don't have the line of questions. Like Pam Bondi right now, could the Office of Professional Responsibility that did that 21-month investigation into Epstein and his intelligence ties, between February 2019 and November 2021, that office reports directly to the Attorney General. So at that time, they were reporting directly to Bill Barr. Bill Barr was called by the New York Times the cover-up general for Iran-Contra. He was deeply...
Bill Barr was?
Yes. Look this up. Look up cover-up general Bill Barr, Iran-Contra. I'm telling you, it all goes back to Iran-Contra. Bill Barr, remember, Donald Barr, Bill Barr's father, recruited
Dalton
Epstein to
School.
the Dalton School to be the math and physics teacher without a degree. Yeah, and you can look
Bill
up...
Barr is the master of covering up political scandals.
And look, yeah, and if you just search the term cover-up general, maybe if you just do, it might be in this article, but the Washington Post, I think, if you just do Google and just do cover-up general, I think they had it as a front-page story. Bill Barr started his career, so Donald Barr, Bill Barr's father, started his career in the CIA. It was the OSS at the time.
Yes.
Bill Barr told his high school guidance counselor his dream job was to be head of the CIA. This is in Bill Barr's autobiography, by the way. Then Bill Barr starts his career in the CIA. He works there for 6 years, and while he's getting his law degree. His first job is blocking congressional evidence about Iran-Contra when Congress, the Democrats in Congress, were trying to get a full archaeological dig on the CIA's involvement in Iran-Contra. Bill Barr was the liaison to Congress for the CIA, and he blocked it. He blocked the whole thing, and then he becomes Attorney General for George H.W. Bush, and then proceeds with all these pardons and blocking all the investigation into Iran-Contra in the early 1990s. This is why you had the Democrats, and that's why it took until the late 1990s and the John Deutsch and the Kerry reports and all this to actually get transparency on Iran-Contra, because Bill Barr had been blocking it from the Justice Department the whole time. But you have these direct links with Bill Barr and that very network because he was at the CIA during Iran-Contra. He blocked the investigation into CIA malfeasance during Iran-Contra. Epstein is running through Iran-Contra, through Southern Air Transport and through Adnan Khashoggi. And then Bill Barr is talking about putting the fox in charge of the hen house. Yeah. He's the Attorney General that OPR has to report to, and he's the one shaping the OPR report on whether Epstein belonged to intelligence. But the public, I think, has a right to see that transcript. What exactly did they ask Alex Acosta? Putting 4 words in quotes in a footnote, the 244th footnote, I don't believe that was the only question they asked Alex Acosta.
No way. And the way he answered it.
The way he answered it,
yeah.
I could see, if someone says the answer is no, I could see him saying, well, I was told that he belonged to intelligence, but I wasn't seeing any documents. How should I answer that? And then them saying, well, listen, if you didn't have firsthand knowledge, then you should say the answer is no. Okay, the answer is no. Great, perfect. Put that in the footnote, kill the scandal right there. We have a right to see that full transcript. Yes. What was asked, what wasn't asked. Because what wasn't asked will give you the key to what to ask now. Alex Acosta, I believe, is on the board of Newsmax now.
Come on.
Yeah, look that up. Oh, here you go. Cover up General Bill Barr.
These people are like cockroaches. They never go away.
So here you see...
Is that what you want? Back in 1992, the first time Bill Barr was U.S. Attorney General, iconic New York Times writer William Safir referred to him as, quote, cover-up General Barr, unquote, because of his role in burying evidence of then-President George H.W. Bush's involvement in Iraqgate, and Iran-Contra. He
got his career, he made his bones as the Iran-Contra guy who coordinated the CIA and DOJ side of Iran-Contra. And he became Trump's attorney general while Epsteined himself, or whatever happened in the missing 2 minutes and 53 seconds of the raw footage.
That they said was not doctored at all, as if we couldn't look at fucking metadata. I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
How long does it take you to open a door? Less than 2 minutes and 53 seconds.
Oh, my God.
But so he's the guy in charge of the Justice Department while Epstein dies in prison and while they bury the investigation.
And whose father gave Epstein his start, because his father, after working at OSS, just decided, you know what, the most prestigious school for children in New York City, I think I'll go be the head of that, because, the people that send their kids there, at least I could talk with them like it's the old days, as if there's not something behind that. Of course there is.
Right, and it was Columbia before that, and Columbia in the 70s, and after he went to OSS, he went to Columbia. Columbia was where there was that first real merger between intelligence, academia, and philanthropy. You can look up...
Yeah, can you explain that?
Yeah, so in the early in the late 1940s, the CIA only had, I think, 36 analysts studying Soviet.
And only 12 of them spoke
Right,
Russian.
right. And so what they did is they worked with the Ford Foundation, the Carnegie Foundation, all the early foundations to pump up money into the university system.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.